What is up, everybody? It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Tuesday, Tightwad Tuesday. Everybody loves Tuesdays, as well as Mondays. July 9th, AD 2024. There was a story that I didn't get to yesterday, and that had to do with the ladies at the Skim, Sharenting, these social media influencers. I don't really know what to say about it, but it's could be somewhat interesting. I will get to your calls, of course. I may read a couple of news stories to you about Patriot Front. Shout out to the Patriot Front guys. And Barcelona, there's problems in Barcelona. They're having problems with the tourism. I will get to your calls as well, of course, guys. I was amused at Hake News today that there is very low confidence in higher education, and it's quite understandable. I don't know if 36% of suckers think that they have high confidence in so-called higher education. Depends on what you go into, of course. Depends on what you do with yourself. And depends on how much you spend, too. Depends on how much you borrow as well. And, you know, First Lady Dr. Jill Biden being like, oh, I'm standing with him. I'm supporting his, pretending like she's supporting her husband. I'm supporting his whatever. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm supporting his career. Wow, she's calling it a career. Ridiculous. It's like JLP says, it's about her. It's not about them, you know? What a mess. So, and I'll get to your super chats as well, everybody. I just have to send something real quick to Anchor Baby and Joelle Friday because I was a little late getting stuff updated for those guys from the JLP show. Shout out to the JLP show. There is one line open. You guys can call in. The lines are filling up already. So anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I have my The Hake Report, la la la, t-shirt and matching mug. You can get It's a Boy colors or It's a Girl colors. Why am I pointing at myself and saying it's a girl? Terrible. It's this desert pink. It's masculine. What a mess. But you can go find your t-shirts by going to the Hake Report Teespring. thehakereport.creator-spring.com. Nice? I think so. So whatever. What's up, guys? Shout out to the Rumble crew, the Facebook crew, of course, YouTube people. I am live on X. JLP Talk is on X as well. I think I'm live on X. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Like I said, I already mentioned Facebook. I am streaming on IG. What's up? Hope you had a great holiday. Says, sorry, I'm sad, 2014. I did indeed. And if I'm ever not live on IG, you can look for me on, go to thehakereport.com. Type that into your browser, and you'll find YouTube, Rumble, D-Live. What's up, D-Live crew, the redheaded stepchildren? Much neglected stepchildren. Shout out to you guys. Twitch, Kick, if you want to go over there and be lonely or alone anyway. So thank you guys for joining. Before I get to calls, the lines are full, guys. But I feel like I would like to share this story for you. Sharenting. Sharenting. Ever heard about it? These people. Okay, so I read this in preparing for Hake News yesterday, Monday. Sharenting. It's ridiculous. Influencers in Illinois will have to pay their kids for quote-unquote sharenting. It's parenting, but sharing it on social media. You know how everybody puts their whole life on social media? Not everybody. The sensible people don't. I'm not necessarily one of those sensible people. But I'm half sensible, maybe. A new Illinois law aims to protect the children of influencers, so-called. Protect them, supposedly. It went into effect earlier this month. The update to the state's child labor law. Child labor laws? I'm going to maybe talk to some of my callers about this, or at least one of them. Communist, yes or no? Is child labor laws communist? I call everything communist. Children under the age of 16 must be compensated if they are in 30% or more of their parents' paid content. So it just means the parents are going to have to, work around the law. It's corrupting, I think. This includes videos on social media platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. The earnings can be big. You know what? Pardon me, I'm having a strange interlude. People are having too much fun outside. We gotta close the door. YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. People making money on it. And they're showing their children on there. And they're being like, look at me, I'm a good parent. Something, I don't know. Some top influencers can rake in millions of dollars. Even smaller ones can get $600 per post, according to the failing New York Slimes. They hate people making money and making business. They went after PewDiePie, the regular mainstream media. The Rhino outlet, the Wall Street Journal, tried to call him like a Nazi sympathizer. Ridiculous, stupid. Under the law, the money must go into a trust that the children can access once they turn 18. Who knows how to do that? As adults, they'll also have the option to request that videos be deleted if they're featured in them. What? There's no direct enforcement of the law, but children, as in not baby goats, can sue their parents if they don't comply with the measure. Illinois is leading the way in fighting child exploitation, according to the ladies at this skim. What it is, I think, is family/court, corrupting courts exploitation. Remember I mentioned yesterday, courts are all about separating children from families. They accuse Trump of separating children from their families. The courts are getting involved. The government is getting involved. Ridiculous, in my opinion. Other states like Washington, Maryland. Now, I sort of disavow somewhat, maybe. Depends on how you do it, I suppose, maybe. Parents using their children for content. But, hey, there's all kinds of ways to make money. Hopefully you're somewhat sensible about it. Many people don't have sense. Washington, Maryland, and California, some of the worst states, by the way, could follow in Illinois' footsteps. Illinois, corruption capital of the world, by the way. I think that I got a call yesterday from Frederick, who told me about this guy named Big Bill. Big Bill. Not to be confused with William from California. Big Bill was white, William from California is black. Creole, anyway, or something. And Big Bill was openly in cahoots with Al Capone, or at least he worked with him. I mean, Al Capone, wasn't he a powerful mob boss type of a guy? If organized crime, they knew how to protect themselves and not get caught. They only caught him on like tax fraud or something like that, tax evasion or something, didn't they? Wasn't that the story? I'm very much a layman in terms of Al Capone history. But this guy was working with Al Capone. Well, maybe Al Capone helped him establish a little bit of peace in corrupt Illinois. But in my mind, Illinois has only gotten worse. Maybe my mind is wrong. because Illinois turned more black. Obama came from Illinois. Who else? Rahm Emanuel came from Illinois. That woman with the bug eyes, she's kind of cute, right? Like in a, sort of like a doggy is cute, like those rat dogs. Those Mexican rat dogs are cute. Chihuahuas. What's her name? Lori Lightfoot. Oh, but then this guy, they elected Brandon Johnson. Had 100 shootings, 100 people shot over 4th of July weekend. Were 100 people shot when Al Capone was around? Maybe. I don't know. But I think it was under a little bit better control. Because Al Capone was, although he was Italian, he was organized. I don't know. 17 or 19 killed, or however many killed over 4th of July weekend. Oh, the heat makes these blacks out of control. Yeah, so Illinois, Washington, Maryland, California, they're not states to follow. Ooh, they're pioneers. They're liberals. It's not pioneering. Incidents in recent years raised concerns about what really goes on behind the scenes of family vlogging channels. Vlogging is like blogging, but with video. Vlogging. I've never liked the word. Influencer Jordan Cheyenne went viral in 2021 for telling her son to cry for a video. Last year, family vlogger Ruby Frankie. Frankie? You guys heard about this story. I haven't told you anything about it ever on my show, but you may have heard about it outside my show. I think JLP may have covered it. Ruby Franca, pleaded guilty to 4 counts of second-degree aggravated child abuse. Wasn't the father was away, her husband was away? Related, they were social media babies. Now they're adults pushing for online protections. Social media is a whole new world. Or, it's kind of like the wild, wild west. Kind of like with AI. She looks like that Star Wars character Diane over on Facebook says about the Lori Lightfoot. I know, and now Brandon Johnson, that normal-looking black guy, is a socialist. Talk about a mama spirit. He's even worse than Lori Lightfoot, perhaps. Who knows? Maybe that's not possible. The Facebook crew is lonely too, says Bethany. Yeah. So, in my mind, that just breeds greed within families, more greed, and kind of encourages it. I know that it's kind of a response to it because children are already against their parents, and these parents are probably not doing stuff right, and they're using their children for their ego and making money. I get it, but the children need that money too. The children just sat there like a bump on a log. It's not like they're... What a mess. I'm not sure I'm for this law. Okay, so that's a story on the Sharenting. Sick stuff, huh? To me, it's basically evil versus evil. So that's your update on the Sharenting. Now let me get to a call or two, guys. The lines are full. Jason in Canada is on the line here. He's been on hold for quite some time. What's up, Jason? How you doing?
Hello.
Hey.
How you doing?
Doing well. How about you?
Doing well as well.
Good. Hey, it's been a little bit of time. You've called my show before, right?
Yes.
Cool. It's good to hear from you, man. What's up?
Yeah, well, I was calling before because of, in Canada there is a lot of immigration, right?
Yeah.
And it seems to be, to me, that there is a problem with that. Because
Definitely.
It's just a...
Are you French Canadian, if you don't mind my asking?
Yes.
Nice. I like the French Canadians.
Really?
I do. Yeah, they're the most based, according to Nick the Anchor Baby, and it seems to jibe I think it's jibe, not jive. It seems to jibe with my experience with French Canadian callers.
Really?
Yeah, you,
Well,
Michael, JLP interviewed JF.
Obviously, the people that are going to call are either extremely I don't know how to say it. They're either going to agree extremely or they're going to disagree.
Yeah, true.
But
I may not be getting a representative sample of French Canadians. Are French Canadians not based in your experience? French Canadians are lame?
Yeah, in my experience, I don't know.
Okay, I understand.
They still believe that Donald Trump is like a bastard or something.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. What's going on with the immigration that you're seeing?
Well, thing is, we have like a housing problem.
A housing problem?
Yeah, well, we don't have enough good space to be in affordable.
Yeah. His phone is rough. I'm putting up with it the best I can. Your phone is rough, and I'm not sure if it's on your end or ours, but there's not a lot of space available. Okay.
Well, it's maybe what's on my end. Is it better now?
No, it's just as bad as It suddenly got worse within the last minute. Before it was fine.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, it might be better now. Go ahead.
Well, what's going on right now is that they're bringing a lot of people in, and we don't have the housing for them.
Oh.
And we don't even have housing for ourselves, and it's not affordable.
Yeah. That's terrible, man. Let me interrupt you, and I'm going to put you on hold and maybe have you call right back or something. But I'm going to put you on hold, Jason, in Canada, and hopefully we can reconnect or something and figure out your phone. Hang on, sir. He's saying there's not enough housing for the regular people, much less the illegals, or the immigrants. But the immigrants may be getting a little bit of the priority. Justin Trudeau is blocking the communications, Hake, says Lin Yenshin. What's up, Lin Yenshin? Hey, what's up, Lin Yenshin? I demoted Lin Yenshin at his request, repeated request, insistence, so that he didn't have to see the non-human Command Man. Because he didn't want to, ban Command Man just so he wouldn't have to see his chats. Okay, so, yeah, what a mess, huh? Terrible things going on in the world. We'll see what happens. Canada, it reminds me somewhat of California. We supposedly have somewhat of a housing problem, but I don't think that it's the housing issue that is making this homelessness crisis. That's the real reason for this so-called homelessness crisis. I think they're just bums. They're bums, but also they're making it harder for people to make a living. They being the government and the commie capitalist corporations that are in bed with the government and stuff like that. So in California, it's a mess as well. And then we have immigration and homelessness, and they're enabling the homelessness. We're a sanctuary state for having drugs, for being criminals, and for being bums, and for illegal aliens and legal immigrants. Because more heads means more money. More heads in the school, more money from the federal government and the state government. So these schools are selfish too. At every level, the leadership is corrupt. It's so sick. Let me get back to Jason in Canada. Jason, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Much better, man. Thanks for calling back.
Yeah, well, I've hung up and called back, and it seemed to fix the problem.
Thank you, man. Nice. Sometimes that works.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, what I was saying was basically that there's a lot, like, it's hard to explain for someone that isn't here, right?
Yeah.
But you see a lot of black people, right?
Black people,
And-
black foreigners?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, black foreigners, because in Quebec, there was no slavery, there was no black people here,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And now you see a lot of them, and they have priority over white people
Wow.
for housing and all that stuff, right?
And are they African blacks as opposed to American blacks or
Yeah.
or island blacks like Haitians and people from down in the Gulf of Mexico or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? They're immigrants,
Yep.
because in Quebec, we didn't have any black people.
Yeah. It's not like you guys brought them over there.
Yeah, well, I don't know where they come from, but they just come in.
Yeah. And what do they act like? How do they act?
They act. Well, I knew one person that was acting a little superior.
Superior? They act like they're superior, or one guy did?
Yeah, well, one guy was acting superior.
Like he owned the place. I've seen that in Paris, I think. The blacks in Paris, France. Speaking
Really?
of the French. Yeah, they act like they own I think it was blacks. Or maybe they were Arabs in Paris. But they were acting all like they earned it because people are the white, if you will, or the leadership over there, if you will, just gives them stuff, and so they get used to it. Black and Arab, same thing. Hassan said. I didn't say it.
But in the same idea, there are a lot of people that have been very well behaved and
right,
and they're actually nice neighbors, you know.
Of course.
But sure. Well,
speaking of some of the immigrants are nice, is what you're saying.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it seems. Well, some of them are nice,
right?
But some of them are obviously assholes. Like, I had an encounter with somebody that was clearly beating his wife, and
oh wow, different culture, huh?
Oh yeah. But I think that the majority are not like that, right?
Yeah.
But but when I saw that guy just having his wife just having like a black eye and shit, and
pardon his French.
Yeah, well, I had to do something.
Yeah.
You know,
oh, so you
maybe.
stepped in?
Yeah, I did.
What?
But
wait. Back up. Let me interrupt you to get a clear picture. Okay, so you came across this couple in which a woman had a black eye. You didn't see the man, and these are black immigrants couple?
Yes.
And how did you see she had a black eye if she's already black? I've never seen a black eye on a black.
Well, let's just say
Puffy?
she had a blue eye.
Oh, okay. So it's like, a blue eye. So it's like puffed up and clearly she was beat up. Okay, so you saw evidence of her being beat up. Did you see him hit her?
When I say like a black eye, it's not like black.
Right. Yeah. But did you see him hit her, or did you just surmise that he must have hit her?
Well, I guess I summarized that he might have, but it was
So did you confront this couple and they were standing together out on the street somewhere?
No, I knocked on the door when I heard the woman screaming.
Oh, this is neighbors.
Yeah.
Oh, so she answered the door and you could see she'd been beat up. Well, it sounds like an angry home. I don't know if you really ought to intervene. That's a dangerous situation. People get killed. Cops get killed in domestic violence situations, where the man and the woman are fighting.
I know.
And she's no angel, I'm sure.
It was probably not the best idea, but
yeah.
But they left. They just left at some point.
Oh, they left?
Yeah.
It wasn't even their place to be staying. They were just visiting that next door neighbor or that neighbor.
No. They had.
Oh, they got moved out.
I don't know. All I know is that they left.
Oh, good. Well, so you survived, and they survived, and they're gone. You don't have to hear the screaming and shouting and fighting, or see evidence of fighting. What a mess. I wonder what the per capita...
Well, the guy was pretty big, though,
Yeah.
He was a big black guy, you
right?
know?
Yeah, be careful, man. Yeah, it may not have been wise for you to go over there.
No, it wasn't wise. Well, I wasn't wrong, so I didn't care.
Yeah.
But they left soon after, so
yeah.
I'm guessing that clearly they were afraid of something.
Yeah. Yeah, stay out of it. Stay out of it. Chaos Confessional says stay out of it, leave them in their hell. I know that...
Yeah, when we can do something, I guess we should do it.
Not necessarily. Oftentimes you shouldn't step in, even if you can, because you don't know the situation. It's kind of like Kyle Rittenhouse. It's a little bit different from Kyle Rittenhouse, but Kyle Rittenhouse was a young man, or is a young man, who was
actually very different.
Yeah, but listen to this. People got shot. They thought he was an active shooter. Some people may really sincerely have thought that he was just some mass shooter. And so they're chasing after him. And the crowd says, oh, that's a mass shooter. And so some of these young men who chased after him may have thought that they were stopping a mass shooter, when in reality they needn't have gotten involved. They could have stopped and watched how this guy was behaving. And he was not behaving at all like any mass shooter. He was running away. So
but I mean, when you see a woman with a black eye and you hear her scream a few times and all, it's hard to say that, like, no, it's not. Do
you feel sorry? Did you feel sorry for the woman?
Abused. Yeah, well, the woman was clearly abused, and
Kyle Rittenhouse is supposedly on camera punching a young lady who may not have been acting very ladylike, may have been getting in his face or something. I don't know.
Right.
And so people could have
obviously maybe she wasn't perfect or anything. But
right.
I believe that it's not right to just punch people in the face.
Right. It's not right to punch people in the face just unjustifiably. Yeah. And it's usually not justified when men and women are fighting. A man should stop the situation or leave the situation or make her leave the situation before something happens like that. But
absolutely.
But the woman should get away from that situation or whatever.
Yes.
But men and women fight, and you don't know the whole story.
Well, I see your point because, there are plenty of women that just, how do you say it?
They provoke.
Yeah, provoke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
And I've seen it.
Yeah.
And
they love it.
But they say that they don't.
Yeah.
But they do.
Yep. And then they play innocent.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mentioned the other day that I was watching this TV show that Sean, the producer, our greatest producer, the former one, fellow flat earther to the new JLP producer, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, but I saw the opening episodes to this TV show from like 15 years ago, and it shows this beautiful, innocent Jewish or Irish woman, mother, married, and this man, pregnant by the way, and this man just beats her up because he found money that wasn't hers, but she got it from a rich guy in town, and she got it from this rich guy in town who, because I forget what happened, but it was relatively innocent means, and she was just completely innocent. Like, why would you beat this woman? But that's not how it works.
Right.
Normally, there's something in her that invites the beating, Whether it's looking all pathetic, people hate patheticness. People just despise patheticness. But this woman was pretty and innocent and not pathetic. So it wasn't a very accurate portrayal of how this thing really goes down.
Yeah, but I've seen things on the internet and all that stuff where people are really just lashing out, right?
Yeah, definitely.
They're not.
And they do it to innocent.
Correcting the behavior. They're just, they're beating up their wife, and it's not even.
I've seen people do it to dogs. People have done it to dogs, animals, little animals, all kinds of things. So I suppose I'm contradicting myself a touch, but yeah, there is such a thing as doing evil to innocent people, unprovoked,
absolutely.
Totally unprovoked. Yeah, of course.
But when something is coming at you, you gotta do something.
Yeah.
And sometimes the reaction can be a little too harsh.
Yeah.
But I do understand that in all situations, there's always a reason for it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like I've seen a story where basically a young boy just killed his mother,
Wow. Terrible. On purpose?
Yeah, on purpose.
Yeah.
But, when he explains this stuff, it's like, well, he was abused. It was not right in his mind. So obviously.
Oh, yeah.
He would do that, right?
Interesting point. Yeah.
And,
like you're saying that the father was not innocent.
I don't know about the spider. I think he lived with his mother or something.
Yeah.
But, he hated his mother.
Oh, the boy did? The boy who killed his father hated his mother.
No, he killed his mother.
Oh, he killed his mother. I thought you said he killed his father. Did he kill both of them?
No.
He's French. English is your second language, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you mean he killed his mother?
Yeah.
Okay, not his father.
No, he didn't kill his father.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if he had a father.
Yeah.
Well, obviously he did, but I don't know if he knew him or not, or what kind of a relationship he had with him.
That makes a lot more sense. A lot of young men kill their mothers. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true. Right? It's a fact. It's look at Adam Lanza killed his mother. He's the one who did the mass shooting in Newtown.
Before I forgave people, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to kill them.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, but people won't admit that. But it's true. It's right there in our hearts, right?
True.
But people won't admit that. Yeah, I wanted to kill that person.
Wow, the French are so violent. Because my caller in Canada also like beat up his dad, his own dad. He beat him up in his younger days.
Yeah, well, I did punch my father in the face.
Wow. See, you guys chop off heads of like rich people in your French revolutions, and you physically attack your parents. I mean, I'm not saying that I didn't hate my parents. I hated my parents too, but I was never even tempted to be violent towards my parents. It's just different symptoms. Well, it's the same evil spirit. I'm not looking down. I'm not judging. I'm just remarking.
You didn't have enough hate.
No, I had enough. It's just a different symptom. Maybe I had lower T. You guys have higher testosterone.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah. That's funny, man. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm blushing. That's funny. Great call, man. It's good to hear from you. I'm glad. That's cool. So you listened to JLP's message about forgiving, and you no longer are violently angry. Hopefully.
Yeah, well.
Although you almost got in a fight with that black guy who gave his wife a black eye. Or his woman.
Well, it wasn't physical, though. It was only verbal.
Okay.
And
so you cussed at him?
Yeah, I just cussed at him, saying,
"Whoa,
well, we don't do that here, right?
Okay.
We don't fucking."
Oh, sorry, kids. Pardon his French. In English, we say pardon my French when I cuss. Oh man, he's funny. It's been a long time. He's rusty. I get yelled at for letting new people cuss, and I don't let people who've been calling regularly for a long time.
Well,
cuss.
I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I accept your apology. He didn't mean it. It just slipped out naturally, kind of like wanting to punch his dad. That's funny, man. Wow, okay. Well, I'm glad you made it out alive, and make sure that you stay cool, stay alert, so that you can be circumspect and wise in your behavior. Because a little incident like that, it can change. It can be a life-changing or a life and death situation, and you don't want to do that just unnecessarily.
Well, I know.
Yeah,
I know, but I didn't know at the point,
Yeah.
When the situation comes and it just comes naturally, I guess.
Yeah. That's why it's good to, just as it comes naturally to be unwise, you want to stay with wisdom, stay close to wisdom and peace, so that it becomes natural to behave wisely, and you can be strong. You can be strong when you need to, but oftentimes patience is also a strength. Holding your peace. Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you a story where I was working, right?
Real fast.
And the woman that I was working with was saying to me that weakness was a strength.
Oh, don't believe her. Or what did she, explain?
Well, she just said that.
Okay.
And she was also talking about like You know the girls that do a lot of songs and all that stuff that just dress up as sluts or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was trying to tell me that this is actually good for the women.
Oh. Why? Because they make money and get attention? How is it good for them? How is it good for them to dress up like sluts and sing and make money?
Yeah, well, personally, I don't think that's so good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they make good songs, not gonna lie.
Right.
But how is that exactly good?
I don't think it is. I think that's a silly woman, perhaps.
Well, she was silly, all right. She had a lot of ego.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear from you, Jason, in Canada. Call me again, man.
Sure.
Take care. Oh, by the way, real quick, the chat is speculating about you, and you don't have to answer this question, but you're not on drugs, are you, right now?
No.
Okay, cool. He's just French, guys. Thanks, Jason in Canada. I wish you well, man. Take care.
All right.
All right.
Care.
Bye. Wow, that was fun. Terry in Portland, Oregon is on the line here. Terry, what's up? Thanks for holding.
Hi. Well, I had a question for you. I figured you would be best to ask about this. So.
Cool.
Yeah. So, I was conversing with a young gentleman, and I was talking about reading the Bible or doing Bible study. And he mentioned to me that he thinks that it's not a good idea for women to study the Bible.
Oh,
because,
interesting.
Yeah, he thinks that we'll interpret it for ourselves, and then we won't be able to be led by a man.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what I thought about that. I mean, I didn't agree, obviously.
Okay.
I know everything all the time, but I don't know. I wanted to know your take on it or what you think, and maybe have a conversation about it.
Definitely. It's a super interesting topic in more ways than one, because one is the woman thing and two is the Bible thing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people,
oh man, it's a lot. Yeah, I didn't really know how to respond to it, so I thought I'd contact somebody smarter.
Let's deal with the woman thing first. Women do get cockamamie ideas based on stuff that they read and hear, and you hear them all the time misapplying even stuff that JLP says. You know, wait and see, don't take sides, and different things. And then, for example, there was this one church segment in which Jesse talked about something to do with children and parents. I forget what it was, but it was parents being charged for their children's crimes. Ethan Crumbly.
I remember that.
The 15-year-old who shot up his high school. Joelle Friday and some of the church ladies were on the side of charging the parents for missing the signs that Ethan Crumbly was going to do this mass shooting. And JLP is like, no, you charge the child for the child's wrongs. And this is it's not like a 5-year-old, it's a 15-year-old. That's according to the Jews, the based Jews, that's a man. You're responsible for your own actions. What you're doing outside the home, you know? What you do outside the home is what you're responsible for as a young man. So, one of the ladies in particular at church who goes regularly, shout out, says, but what about, Jesse, you're taking sides. And he's like, no. I'm not taking sides. This is wrong. So there's instances.
Taking sides.
Yeah, taking sides.
What side is he to take here?
It's not like he's taking the side of the parents, nor is he taking the side of the law or the courts. He's just saying it's wrong to charge parents for what the children do. But when you take a position, this is right, this is wrong, Trump is the man for the job, people think, oh, you're taking sides with Trump. But if you keep a distance from Trump, you're not taking sides with him. You just see that he's the man for the job. So that's an example of misapplying don't take sides. You know? So people misapply, and it's not just women, but women do it a lot. Women will try to use your own words against you. And males do it too, but it's sort of effeminate when males do it. It's not manly.
Yeah, it's a illogical, manipulative, effeminate kind of.
Right. So you know what I'm getting at. And so this is not even dealing with just the woman thing. It is dealing with the intellect. The intellect is so evil, and it'll take the Bible and think it knows what the Bible is saying, when in reality, they're not trusting in the Lord with all their heart. They're leaning on their own understanding of the Bible. But they're not. But they think that they're trusting in the Lord because they're quoting the Bible and thumping it. So that's a warning for women, yes. And it's also a warning for human beings in general. That's why JLP says, don't study the Bible. Read it, put it down, and let the Holy Spirit bring to your remembrance what you need. Don't try to remember. Don't read to remember, because that's just getting your ego involved, getting your pride involved, and putting your will into it as if you can make it happen by your effort like that. You know what I mean? It's fine to read it, but I don't know what he means by don't study it.
It's just like, I just thought it's like reading certain parts and maybe like talking with other people about what you've read. I don't see it as being that.
Yeah. So it's a he may not have meant it in the right way. I don't know whether he meant it right or wrong. But I guess I would have to talk to him to see what I think of where he's coming from. But there's a sense in which he's right, you know? Because women try to, these women get all involved in politics, and it's like, oh man, first of all, you're making yourself miserable, because people who get too involved in politics, man or woman, they make themselves miserable over nothing. They make something important that's not actually important. And then they just make a mess, at least in their own life, if not in others.
And it can be dangerous and deadly. So.
Yeah, definitely. People kill over politics and religion.
Yeah, or you could end up in prison because you were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. You can waste your life. Think about Obama. Obama has achieved more than Hake has, right?
Oh, Hake.
But listen.
I'm glad that comment got under your skin. I really wanted it to.
Nice. That's funny. But look, he's achieved a lot, and he's gotten a lot of acclaim. And that acclaim may make him think that he's on the right path. It may feed his ego. A lot of times people build their lives on what brings them worldly success. But really, he's going down the wrong path and doing his life in the wrong way in certain ways, He's pushing for the wrong things. So oftentimes you can be deceived by how your life goes by not when you should be really listening within and stopping and pausing and accepting correction from others rather than hating your enemies.
Yeah.
Because Obama's enemies could actually give him good advice. But he won't take it. He's too proud.
I don't know that I can really comment much on that. But, that's your opinion.
What? Which part?
I don't know. I don't really follow much about Obama or know who his enemies are.
Oh, well, by his enemies, I mean like JLP, the Tea Party, the Boomers, Mark from Los Angeles.
Okay, I get it.
I'm just saying Obama's pushed,
Obama
he supported.
in chat right now?
He supported, yeah, Obama, if you're in chat, let's say Hake talks a lot of crap about Obama. If Obama didn't take what I'm saying personally and like pause to find out, oh, that's true. I shouldn't be pushing the gay agenda or the LGBT or Black Lives Matter, propping them up, or this phony racism victimhood stuff, then he could learn. But he won't. Obama, I understand. You're just a beta. Everybody's beta. So same thing with women and all intellectuals. But with women too, because women aren't really
be intellectual to read.
No, not necessarily. You definitely don't have to be intellectual to read the Bible. You can read JLP reads the Bible and he's not intellectual.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so read it. Just don't be all. Just watch yourself, watch your feelings. That you may get a good feeling, like, hey, that feels great. Reading the Bible. Oh, I love this passage. Oh, I love this passage so much. Watch those feelings, those positive feelings, as well as the distraught feelings. Because I noticed that we messed up human beings, we lame-o human beings who aren't really seeking the kingdom of God, only play like we want to seek the kingdom when there's a loss, a breakup, a pain, some issue that's bothering us. Not when the devil has us happy and comfortable in our slavery to him. So you want to watch the good feelings as well as the bad ones.
Okay, I understand that.
Nice. So definitely, read the Bible a little bit.
But I wonder about the obedience thing. Like, would this lead to disagreement, or like, would it undermine a husband's authority if there is disagreement about what's biblical? I don't know. It sounded kind of like it could or couldn't.
It depends on
Christian couples I know, like, they're both pretty biblically learned.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Let's say you disagree with, but this is all like living in the future or in the imagination,
it's
really.
Kind of speculative and imaginative.
Yeah.
You're right about that. I kind of got that from the conversation too. It was like,
yeah, it's better.
Anything could happen.
Right. If you're in a situation, but you do have disagreements in your life. Whereas the Bible says, do your best to agree with all people, especially in the church, your Christian brothers and sisters. Even if you disagree, still be agreeable with them. The best, as far as it depends on you. Because you can be, if you're disagreeable, your spirits and disagreeable and nasty and judging them, then that's trouble. That's not right. Yeah. Then you're not even biblical. Even though you may be right about one issue biblically, your spirit's evil and wrong.
Yeah, I agree about that.
Yeah.
One should not be disagreeable.
Yep.
Okay.
Is it communist? What did I say was communist? Did you hear me?
You mentioned something communist. Oh, you said, yeah. Oh, there was something you said. You wanted to know if I'd been a librarian yesterday.
Yeah.
What about me screams librarian to you?
You know stuff. You're communist. You're a woman, and you're white and fairly proper. Don't you seem like you would be a librarian?
I could see it. I was like, oh, dang, I give off librarian vibes.
A young, hip librarian,
yeah,
I mean.
Thank you. Yeah, of course.
There was something else I wanted to know if it was communist, though.
You mentioned something, before you took...
I think it had to do with Sharenting, when I was talking about Sharenting.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk with me about that?
Yeah, real quick.
What about this is communist?
Okay.
The law, the draconian law forcing
child labor laws. Oh, yeah. Are child labor laws communist?
Well, not necessarily. I think in the history of the U.S., they probably were pushed forward by at least socialist-minded people.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you look at China, they've got all kinds of child labor, and those kids are doing fine.
Oh, interesting. Child labor is fine in China. They don't have any child labor mama spirit laws.
I think they do have some laws, but, you know, they don't have a problem with having kids work.
Yeah. Well, that's why China's...
And I think for most of history, kids have worked.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So...
It's just that it went kind of overboard. You hear supposedly it went overboard. Mm-hmm. They drummed up these extreme stories, or they played up stories that sounded extreme and bad, supposedly. And I'm sure that there were some rough situations that workers, actual people who actually worked, dealt with in the mines and stuff like that, whether they were men or children or women, I guess.
Definitely. But, I mean, I think it's not a bad thing. I mean, we have, through the Industrial Revolution, we've built a lot of wealth in our country, and, you know, we can extend certain privileges to citizens, and I think, you know, it wasn't a bad thing to get kids more educated. It set them up for better lives overall. They could read and write and have basic understanding. You know, they could get out of possibly being in the mines their whole life, or, you know, working in a textile factory or what have you.
Yeah, it's good to be able to read a little bit, for sure. Definitely.
Unless you're a woman. No, but I don't know. I don't know what I think, though, because I kind of am disgusted usually by these family bloggers or whatever they're called. Like,
right.
I mean, JLP shows videos of people, like, abusing their kids all the time, or just messing with them to get, like, them to cry or react. And I'm wondering, like, you know, should these people be punished? Maybe.
Yeah.
But that's also me being kind of evil, and, you know.
Fair enough.
There's parents doing that not on camera as well. So
definitely. Yeah. It's a big mess.
I had lots of little odd jobs as a kid, you know, in the neighborhood, doing things for neighbors.
Yeah. My brother used to pull weeds for one of the cousin's grandmas. Mm-hmm. He would mow lawns. We would work on that. We would put up siding. We would paint the house. We would put up we would put on shingles, tear off shingles. It was fun. We would clip the hedges and ivy, clean up. It was cool. It was good working as a kid.
Say, kids that develop a work ethic early on tend to fare better in the job market.
Definitely.
Like, they're more disciplined when they enter, and they're used to having, they're just more disciplined in their flesh. So I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing to put kids to work necessarily.
Right. Have both. Work and school.
Yeah.
Well, it's great hearing from you, TERRI, in Portland. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for your insight. Have a good day.
All right. You as well. Bye. Mark in Los Angeles is on the line here. We're coming up to the top of the hour. Mark, how are you doing?
Good. Happy White History Month.
Indeed.
I haven't heard you say that all day.
I know. Terrible. I'm remiss.
It is terrible.
I am remiss in not wishing, in my failure to wish you guys a happy White History Month.
Okay. Thank you for taking the call. First of all, I want to real quickly go back to yesterday when I mentioned Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
If anybody doubts that it's based on race and black crime, I would suggest go to Baton Rouge if you're a white man, if you're a white woman, you better have a gun. And spend 2 weeks there and see if it was economics that drove the white man out of Baton Rouge. It was strictly race and black crime, black criminal savage crime. So that's that. I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, okay.
And real quick also, over the weekend, or maybe it was last week, there was a major brawl on a Carnival cruise line down in Honduras. It was off the coast of Honduras, but it came out of the U.S. And our problem race people were on the cruise and started a major fight.
Wow.
I mean, they tore the kitchen or the dining room up. I mean, they brought their savagery from America onto the cruise ship and showed the whole world, because that's an international cruise. You had Honduran waiters and third world people that were witnessing these savages.
Yeah.
And it was just an embarrassment.
True.
I mean, if I was a Negro, I would be embarrassed.
A lot of them are. Yeah, a lot of them are.
Well, not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough. That clown
True.
in Phoenix isn't embarrassed. He looks at it as a pride and joy thing. We have to understand it.
I think he looks away because he claims not to like. He claims what Chris Rock said. Nobody hates N-words more than Black Americans or something like that.
Well,
and so he claims, right?
Well, that they don't vote that way.
Yeah,
and
true.
Furthermore, how do you distinguish if you're a white person? How do you do that?
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
But the main reason for the call today is in regards to your monologue. You mentioned the Patriot Front.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. I saw their march. I don't think all of their members are feds.
Right.
I think the leadership is. And a little history on this.
Okay.
Remember Mueller, the guy that went after Trump?
Bob Mueller, or whatever his name was. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a former FBI director and a total self-hating piece of trash. He hates his own race.
Yeah.
He's the one that was under Mueller's watch that they started these honeypot schemes to get as many National Socialists on their list.
Whoa.
As they can, and that may very well be the case with the Patriot Front.
Oh, okay.
Because
yeah.
Mueller's the one that started it. Christopher Wray is total garbage. He's a white trash, no good politician.
Chris Wray.
Self-hating white man who heads the FBI now. So, yeah, I think unfortunately, they're probably a honeypot scheme to get your name and address. So the white man really doesn't have a group he can go to. We could all support Trump, which we do, but the problem is they're going after Trump. They may not succeed, but they might. And the reason
let me interrupt because I want to explain honeypot because many people may not know what honeypot means. According to honeypot trap is an intentionally compromised decoy system set up to lure people into like a controlled environment to in order to spy on them and stuff like that. Yeah.
Go
ahead.
I was just going to say the same FBI that creates honeypot schemes to catch white Christians won't go after black identity racists to attack white people. I heard Chris Wray, the scumbag, talking to Cory Brooks, another scumbag, black senator from Jersey. Cory Booker, whatever.
Yeah.
And Gray promised this creep that they would no longer investigate black identity groups.
Oh, yeah, because that used to be black identity extremists or whatever it was called under the Trump administration. They started paying attention to that because the black identity types have been very extreme and they've done some terror attacks, mass shootings of cops and all kinds of different things over the years.
Yeah, of course. But Christopher Wray, when that rat got in there, he did away with that. He had to pray. He had to get on his knees to Booker to promise him, "Oh no, we're not going after your racists.
Yeah,
we just want to go after our racists."
Ridiculous.
That's who this guy is. And I just want to finish with this: there isn't a race problem in America. There is a problem race, and I think people should know that and define it that way. I mentioned that on the Anchor Baby show the other week, and I think it really means something. It's more than just a quip. It's basically the truth. We don't have a race problem. The white man just wants to work and pay his taxes,
right,
and have a safe environment for his kids to go to school in. But instead, we got these federal judges that are commissars, basically, demanding that white neighborhoods be flooded with third world savages, and the schools, the same thing, the white schools. I mean, we're under attack, and there's nobody there to help us. If we try to organize, the FBI tries to hunt us down. And that's the current situation in America. I think the only hope we have, and it's a temporary stop, would be Trump getting elected if he could get through all the crap.
Right.
You know, all that they're going to throw at him. He could help put the brakes on the civil rights movement, because it's still going. It's just more evil and openly anti-white than it was 50, 60 years ago.
Definitely. That's the fact. That's the truth. That's the facts. Those are the facts, people. Interesting, man.
I appreciate it, Hake. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark in Los Angeles. Take care, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, he got me with the click. So he brought up Patriot Front. I may as well tell you a little bit about it. What we know about the white, in the capital W, white, nationalist group Patriot Front. And this is, of course, from Commie Nonsense Network, CNN. An article by Holly Yan, Asian-looking gal. Looks at least part Asian. Sarah Dewberry and Sharif Paget. Paget? P-A-S-H-A-R-I-F. Sharif Paget. P-A-G-E-T. Which is a dude. He looks like, I don't know, Middle Eastern or something. I don't know what type of last name that is. He's a news-gathering producer for Commie Nonsense Network. Okay? He graduated from Newmark J School, rooted in the core skills and ethics of journalism from New York. Part of CUNY, City University of New York. Anyway, those are the people who are behind this. Holly Yan, this gal. Pff. Yeah, looks part Asian at least. Don't harass them. From Atlanta. Mizzou grad. Anyway, what does this story say? I'll tell you. With their faces concealed behind white cloths. Cloths. Clothes or cloths? Cloths. Put white cloths on their faces. And sunglasses. Dozens of protesters marched down the streets of downtown Nashville over the weekend. This is an article from July 8th, yesterday, Monday. So let me paste this article link into the YouTube chat and the D-Live chat and elsewhere. They were chanting, Sieg Heil! Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. Isn't that... It has something to do with the Hitler-Nazi salute or something. And it also says, deportation saves the nation. You know they're liberals because they're saying chants that are catchy. Deportation saves the nation! According to a statement from Tennessee Democrat Party. Reclaim America, one banner at the front of the group read. Behind it, a uniformed marchers in dark shirts and khaki-colored pants. Khaki means like light tan, I guess. I mean, I'm quite sure I know that. Hoisted a plethora of Confederate and historic U.S. flags. With some of the American flags turned upside down. American flag upside down, that's a sign of distress. America is in distress. And that is a fact. The attire and tactics are hallmarks of the Patriot Front white supremacist group. Are they really white supremacists? You're just putting that name on them, who knows? With which the protesters are believed to be affiliated. And they're just part of a multifaceted shift in political rhetoric. Rhetoric means way of talking, I guess. Purportedly aiming to drastically reshape America during this crucial presidential election cycle. No criminal activity took place. Nice. During the Nashville rally, police said, demonstration drew disdain from local critics because Nashville is a bunch of liberals. You know, a lot of musicians from Nashville, Christian and unchristian. And even the Christian musicians, liberals. All musicians are liberals, just a side note. I know some of you guys hate to hear me say it. You can call in and disagree. There's one line open. Just 2 days after celebrating the independence of our nation, white supremacists have taken to the streets of Nashville carrying Confederate flags. Yeah, the Confederate flag, it's our brothers, our Southern brothers, right? And the Confederate flag is only hated because of hatred of whites. It's the only reason that it's hated. And melodrama about slavery. And melodrama about slavery is also hatred of whites. Okay? You know that. Enchanting deportation saves the nation and Sig Hail, blah, blah, blah. So claims the Tennessee Democrat Party in a statement posting on X Saturday night. This is why we're fighting. This is what we're fighting against in Tennessee. Young men saying stuff, some of it appropriate, some of it maybe inappropriate, because you're not supposed to reference Hitler stuff. Okay, don't be doing that. I guess I don't know exactly why. I sort of know why, because he did bad things. He's the most evil man ever to exist. When you think of the most evil person in the world, many people, probably 6 times out of 10, maybe 8 times out of 10, name the most evil person ever to exist. People are going to say Hitler. By the way, catch Joel Friday TV. He's coming up next. He's coming up in less than an hour. He's not the most evil man ever to exist, right? His show is going to be called When God Is Not First. Nice. Check that out. So they said bad things. And they wore masks and, like, they said one bad thing. Basically all I hear. Deportation can definitely help. Can help. That alone won't save the nation, but that's not what they're saying. They're just saying that'll help. Anyway, so bystanders stunned to see the white nationalist demonstration popped up around the country, including Boston on Independence Day weekend 2 years ago. So what are they? Commie Nonsense Network refers to two organizations that are also hate groups. Commie Nonsense Network, hate organization. You know, they hate Trump, they hate white people, they hate the straights, the Christians. It's a hate group. But you can join it. Go work for CNN, definitely. I halfway work for CNN. Just kidding. And then they also, Commie Nonsense Network, hate group. Patriot Front, I don't know, maybe hateful. Southern Poverty Law Center, hateful, definitely. And the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, extremely hateful. Okay, so Patriot Front is a white nationalist hate group formed in the aftermath of the deadly Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, per SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center, which was founded by unchristian communists, if I remember correctly, and it was to smear the whites. But they're pretty, they have some interesting information sometimes on their sites. The organization broke off from Vanguard America, a neo-Nazi group, participated in the chaotic demonstration. So claims SPLC. And it was only chaotic because Antifa and Black Lives Matter were allowed to attack the whites at the Unite the Right rally, 2017, August. You guys remember the story, I think. 2017 rally turned deadly, quote unquote, when counter-protester Heather Heyer was in the middle of the street of an alley that young man drove down and she was among the crowd and she got hit and died. I don't know. She died. She was, I guess you could say she was killed. Last month, Thomas Ryan Rousseau, who led Vanguard America members at the Unite the Right rally, rebranded the group's website and launched a new group called Patriot Front, per the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, who make their business defaming whites. And they also go after blacks, by the way, a little bit. But mainly they go after whites. They pretend to protect the Jews, but they really just bring more hatred and ire towards the Jews, unfortunately. What a mess, huh? I guess you could call it unfortunate. It's evil's job to be evil. CNN has reached out to an attorney who has represented the Patriot Front's leader for comment. So they call themselves American nationalists. Preserve America's identity as pan-African, a pan-European nation, not pan-African. So adds the ADL. justifying their hate and intolerance under the guise of preserving America's identity as a pan-European nation. Those in America who are not of European ancestry are not truly American, so says the group's manifesto, supposedly, per Commie Nonsense website. To be an American is to be a descendant of conquerors, pioneers, visionaries, and explorers, blah, 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 blah. Founding stock of the people, blah, blah, blah. Nice. I think that a lot of them are young people who are just excited. Young people who are excited. And when you get excited, you join a group, and it may be ill-advised. And I don't know what they've done. I saw a confrontation that a former guest on the JLP show and the Fallen State also posted on X. Dinesh D'Souza posted it. Where Proud Boys, I think it was Proud Boys, it looked like Proud Boys, tearing off the masks of these guys, and then these guys are like covering their faces because their faces are getting exposed. And I don't know when that was from, 2020 maybe, or maybe more recently. So Proud Boys exposing Patriot Front people's faces, tearing the masks off of them. Somehow they got into some type of scuffle. Proud Boys are not even into the white thing. Some of them are. Some of the individuals are, but organizationally, they just are for Western civilization. And evil Joe Biden still going after Proud Boys. Oh, Proud Boys? He brought up in the, I'm being too energetic in my imitation of Sleepy Joe, Crooked Joe Biden. Proud Boys. Trump. Remember Trump said, Proud Boys, stand back, stand by. Oh. The Proud Boys aren't, I mean, I've known some Proud Boys who are into the white thing and others who are not. And some of them are Mexican, some of them are Asian, some of them are Blaxican, which is black Cuban or whatever. Enrique Tarrio. Not Blaxican. Some of them are Whitexican. Some of them are Jewish. They're just for not being all into pornography and the big M and into being Western civilized. But so some of them may be young and excited, and some of them may be feds. Who knows? Don't judge them. Why are they so proud, Hake? They say, oh yeah, I know, I don't like the term Proud Boys. I was like, proud? That reminds me of the gay agenda. But no, it's not supposed to be anything about the gay agenda. Although they're nice to the gays. Too nice. But some of them. But they're like, oh, I won't apologize for creating the Western world. Even though, you know, we didn't. But sometimes we help if we are working men. Some of the old Proud Boys are kind of rough around the edges and they're ready to fight. They're former felons. They got out of jail and now they're like defending free speech. Based stick man, knocked an Antifa on his helmeted head. Remember Based Stick Man? Whatever happened to him? They're like rough around the edges Trump supporters. Many of them Trump supporters. You don't have to be a Trump supporter. I think they are cowards, says Frederica. I don't really hold it against them to cover their faces because you get exposed. You know, you get exposed, you get doxxed, people try to ruin your life or they try to track you down. They're being evil. I don't even necessarily support protests and demonstrations. I think that's a liberal communist thing. I used to do it. It's fun. People would honk, forget Donald Trump. They wouldn't say forget. They would say the other F. Forget Donald Trump. I'm like, Trump loves you. Shouting at the blacks. I was like, you Nazi commies. I remember I was reminiscing being at the Straight Pride rally up in Modesto, California. Proud Boys helped us out there, too. They were, like, kind of defending us. They were, like, being security. Decent guys. Every Proud Boy I've ever met, halfway decent guy. I know sometimes they've been gotten in trouble, maybe gone overboard, fighting against and beating up and defending themselves against Antifa. They're like too much testosterone, too much strength. They go overboard, maybe. Nazis are not commies. Well, yeah, these are Nazi commies. You guys are, because they were calling us Nazis because we're not for abortion, right? You do the math. I don't know. I don't understand. You Nazi commies. You guys are Nazi commies because they are intolerant and too strict against being for what's right. You're not supposed to be for what's right. So that's being sort of Nazi. Nazi means too strict. And also stuff like that. Protests don't change anything, money does. And even that, like, changes stuff for the worse. It's, I think messing up families changes stuff for the worse, too. I think being a light in the world changes stuff for the better. Trump, a light in the world. JLP, a light in the world. Jesus said, you are the light of the world. He literally said, you are the light of the world. Did you know that? That's wild. Stop the towers. Whoa. Joel Friday TV is participating in the towers, so I guess it's okay. Follow Joel Friday TV. Anyway, that's my rant about that. I guess it's enough. Let me talk to Manuel in California, and before I get back to super chats and then calls. I will get to all of you guys. A lot of you guys been on hold forever. Manuel in California, what's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing, Hank?
Doing well, thank you.
I guess I'll start with the Disability Pride Month thing.
Okay.
I'm not for it whatsoever.
Yeah.
You already know. I've already told you I'm in a wheelchair.
Right.
To me, like, the whole disabled thing is just like I don't know, like a front or like a crutch that they help, or they try to put on you so that you can't get up and do things on your own.
Yeah.
And just terrible. I know I'd be like a terrible advocate because I always see like disability advocates on Instagram, and I'm always like, terrible. Just people crying about stuff.
Yeah.
Bunch of weak people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in my own situation, and like I can't really tell when I can and can't go to the bathroom, so I have accidents.
Oh, okay.
And I don't call someone to come help me and change me and wash me. I go and get my crippled ass in the shower and do it.
Yeah.
So like when people have that Disability Pride Month idea, or I'm disabled, it just weakens them. You know, they won't do anything for themselves. It's terrible. It's embarrassing. I don't even call myself disabled because I don't want to be a part of that.
Right. What do you think of my handicapped word?
The what?
I prefer the word handicapped to disabled.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Or the R word. I like that one better.
R word?
Handicap.
Etarded, Ray?
Yeah.
That may be a little too close. My pig Latin's not even enough of a disguise.
Yeah, I just call it R-tard nut.
Yeah. Because it's wild that they allow themselves to be roped in with all the other phony victim groups who have these false identities, and I start to identify with their bodies being all, bodies are messed up in some form, or hampered or handicapped in some form. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
My daughter was doing softball, and there's like 12 players on the team, a lot of the parents there during practice, and they would all just sit there. None of the parents would help the coaches go collect balls to help coach their child.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I was the only one out there helping.
Nice.
And I'm over here thinking, like, so who's the disabled person here, me or them?
Right.
Like, they're 10 times more capable than me.
Yep.
But they're sitting there acting like they're the ones that are disabled.
Yeah.
And I'm the one out there doing this. I'm over here leaning over my chair, pushing balls back and forth.
That's cool.
To me, it's just crazy. Like, so how am I the one disabled?
Yep.
Everyone's got problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Life problems, heart problems, blah, blah, blah.
In a sense, those parents who are bums, lazy, they're mentally disabled. Not in the sense, right. Not in the mentally handicapped thing, but they are
disabling themselves mentally by forcing themselves
spiritually. Yeah, they're spiritually dead. That's cool.
Terrible. It's embarrassing. That's why I won't even use that word. When I hear, like, I go to they have a spinal cord meeting I used to go to once a month, and I would just go in there and people would weep. I'd just be all like, dude, quit crying. Get over it.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Yep.
You can't say that to these people. I'm like, I'm one of them. I'm trying to help them.
Right.
But, you know, like Jesse said, you can't help anybody.
True. That's a fact. And you can't even, you don't even do any good judging them either.
No.
Yeah.
That's why I just stay out of it and have fun, you know. You have to sit there and wallow in your tears while I go do something else.
Yeah.
So that Patriot Front thing, to me, obviously anything Democrat, I already just know it's a Fed thing. All Democrats do is they label something that it is, so like it's right in front of your eyes, like the Inflation Reduction Act. They do not do that.
Right.
It's a complete play on words. Patriot Front. So it's a front for something then, in my mind.
Yeah.
So he did an interview with another podcaster. I'm not going to say his name, but you should check it out.
The guy who founded Patriot Front, you're saying, did an interview?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with a pretty big podcast guy.
Okay.
And you can kind of tell, like, this guy's been trained, because in the beginning they start talking about how in high school he said he's been followed by the FBI ever since he was in high school.
Wow.
Since he was 17 years old, because he was in like the news group, and he posted something about the founding fathers or something like that. But then, you know, they did further research and found out that he was on, like, when he was 16, he was writing the complete opposite of things like diversity, this and that.
And this is Thomas Rousseau.
Sure. I don't know his real name.
The guy of Patriot Front. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And
interesting.
So, like, they started digging into his past and all that, and he wouldn't answer that. And then when you were talking about the Hitler thing, like, they even asked him on there, like, oh, how much do you know about Hitler? And he says nothing. And then he also talks about how Jews could be a problem to a monetary system. And to me, when I heard that, I'm like, oh, okay. So if you feel that, then there's no way you wanted to study Hitler.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what you're saying right now, and it'll align with what you're saying, but you never, ever studied it. He would only list American books, such as like Thomas Jefferson, like strictly American nationalists. You can tell that's what they're doing.
Right.
But nothing else. Never read a book outside of American stuff. And, so to me, it's a complete front. Like they said, they're just going to collect on people that feel the same way. So they have an archive of people that they know. Okay, we'll catch these guys.
Yeah.
We're going to get them in a little group, because it's just like Antifa. They cover their faces.
Right.
Why would you cover your face?
I say to protect your identity. You know. I
get that.
But still, it's Antifa covers their face because they're doing crimes a lot of the time.
Right.
Yeah. Or black do it. Go ahead.
If you're not doing any crime and you're a front for something that isn't real, then I would figure you'd cover your face.
Yeah.
Because if it was real and you really believed in what you're standing, why would you want to hide your face?
Yeah.
No matter what, they're going to find out who you are eventually if this is something real.
Right.
None of them really have tattoos, and if they do, they're always wearing long sleeves.
Oh.
3, they're all in shape.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like, not all Antifa members are skinny.
True.
So to be in shape, to me, is almost like to get into the CIA, FBI, or military. You have to be in shape. They don't just hire fat people.
Yeah. True.
So that's like my little thing on that.
You may well be right. I was thinking that some of them may be. I would have to believe that their whole point, the whole point of a Fed group, is to have people who are not Feds join it so that they can track them and have them be informants or spy on them or whatever, and get involved.
Yeah,
because there's a whole big movement among whites and among people who love whites, quote unquote, love whites, and the FBI wants in on anything like that, or any group that wants influence, and that includes the feds, the government, wants an inside look on anything that's a big trend. And a big trend right now is supporting the whites.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like they tried infiltrating the Proud Boys.
Right.
And what happened was the Proud Boys started without governmental interference.
Yeah.
So one way to beat them to the jump is to just start your own.
True.
So that it's not as like obvious, like, oh, we're trying to get feds and we're trying to get people to interview and get them to join the FBI. Like, they already have like maybe 10 people in there out of 200 that are probably a portion or appointed by a government to sit there and idly watch. And you go online and you fill it in, and it's like, I don't think you can join if you're black, because even in that thing, that guy kept saying, he's all like, blacks aren't really American.
Wow. Huh.
And so that's like, it's kind of odd, because like, if you're born here, I give it to you, you're American. Like, there's plenty of people that weren't American that fought in our militaries that were born here, though.
Right. Yep.
Oh, okay. I'll get off the phone after this. One other thing, I was listening to another podcast about air traffic controllers.
Okay.
And the guy was saying that the air traffic controllers act like an arm to the military in case anything were to happen, airfield wide. And that got to me thinking, like, man, this is probably why they're pushing so hard for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the air traffic controller situation. Because if that's like an arm, I don't know how true that is. So
yeah.
This is a hearsay. This is what the guy said. He was air traffic controller. But if they're an arm of the military to an extent, if there was something go on,
yeah,
that's not good if we have the wrong people in place.
That's a good point. And they're not fully competent. It seems like, man, we have an infection of incompetence.
Yeah, maybe Steve from Maryland will have some insight on how that if that's really true, because he said he was one.
Oh, interesting. Cool, man.
Your buddy Steve from Maryland, you should ask him that. Nice.
Yeah, good point. I might. It's great hearing from you, Manuel, in California. Take care.
You too, man.
All right. Daniel in Texas is on the line here. Daniel in Texas, thank you for calling and holding there, man. What's up?
How are you, James?
Doing well. Thank you.
Right on. What are you reading?
My notes. I don't read books, man. How about you?
I got a book for you.
Okay.
You don't have to read it. I'll read it for you. The whole thing right here now. No, I'm joking. It's Military Memoirs of a Confederate: A Critical Narrative by General Edward Porter Alexander of Lee's Army.
Okay.
And I wanted to share something with you on this White History Month.
All right.
Okay. Bear with me. It's 3 sentences. They're long sentences, but I'm going to blaze through them so you're not sitting impatiently.
Okay.
All right. Had our cause succeeded, divergent interests must soon have further separated the states into groups, and this continent would have been given over to a divided nationalities, each weak and unable to command foreign credit. Since the days of Greece, confederacies have only held together against foreign enemies, and in times of peace have soon disintegrated. It is surely not necessary to contrast what would have been our prospects as citizens of such states with our condition now as citizens of the strongest, richest, and strange for us to say who once called ourselves conquered and our cause lost, the freest nation on the earth.
He said that after the war. He said that after the Civil War. Good for him. That's a great attitude, and it's an interesting point. That had the Confederacy won, it would have been too weak to hold together and defend it against, it would have disintegrated. That's interesting.
According to him, that's the way he perceives it.
Yeah. And yet, even with the oppressor federal government, he still appreciated the freedom that he had, even in the midst of the Union imposing forced unity and all that. That's cool. That's a great attitude.
I want to tell you personally. Texas was hit by a big hurricane, and so I'm sitting with power out.
Oh wow!
For a couple of days.
Is it hot?
And I read it's hot, and I got all my windows and doors open, and I read this by candlelight last night.
Wow!
And I was reading it. It's just it kind of takes you back when you're able to do something like that.
You're a regular Abraham Lincoln. I remember Abe Lincoln used to read by candlelight.
Well, that's how you do it when you don't have electricity.
Yeah. And you don't read during the day. Yeah. You're working during the day, you read at night.
Yeah. But I wanted to share that for everyone who says, oh, we lost our freedom. It hasn't been free since whenever.
Yeah. I'm one of the people who said that. I said we lost our freedom after the Civil War.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You didn't lose as much as Edward Porter Alexander lost.
Yeah.
And here he is saying that this is the freest country on the earth after the Civil War.
Yeah.
And this whole Jimmy, the artist formerly known as Jamie from Minnesota, was saying that the country hasn't been as free since the Revolution, that George Washington was kind of the pinnacle, and it just kind of disintegrated from there. I think that there's clear indications that the United States has been the freest country in history, and it stands to reason that it still is. And it's basically up to you. It's up to you how free you want to be.
That's fair.
And so I just want to throw that out there for that.
That's a great attitude to have, and I think that it's true. Go ahead.
Another book I've been reading is Jurassic Park.
Oh wow! I've never read it.
You should. Well, if you're interested, you should.
Okay.
It's a science fiction, and I think you know the idea of it. But
I've never seen the whole movie. I was 12 still. I wasn't 13 yet.
Well,
I heard it was rough. Anyway, go ahead.
I won't spoil any of it for you. But
yeah, nice.
A big theme of the is about control, and the power goes out. And so I was reading that by candlelight last night, and that was, just kind of a nice experience to.
That's
to
true.
Fiction in there.
Nice.
But
Michael Crichton, right?
Yeah, but
cool.
A lot of it rings to accounting of what you can control and what you are unable to control when you don't have modern technology at your disposal.
Yeah.
So it's a park where it can't contain its creatures once the power goes out, and is failing to contain its creatures even with the power on.
Wow.
So they are having trouble accounting for how many species of animals they have and the growth of the creatures, because they are accounting for what they have, and if a creature dies, their system will be able to report a dead creature. But they have the parameters set so that they don't expect increases, because they just don't expect the dinosaurs to breed.
Whoa.
And what's happening is they're not receiving additional information for exceeding numbers, because their system hasn't been calibrated to do that.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening is they're being told by their system that everything is all of their accounts are all their expected accounts are fine.
Yeah.
So that's how they're operating.
That's interesting, man.
So
what a mess. Jurassic Park.
Now what you've read.
Yeah.
So you're reading those two.
Well, thank you.
Go ahead. The last time I talked about Edward Porter Alexander was from his other book, The Fighting for the Confederacy, The Personal Accounts of General Edward Porter Alexander. And today I read The Military Memoirs of the Confederate. And the difference between these two are when they were published. So this one that I just read to you now is what he published in the 1910s. And it wasn't well received. This critical narrative was not well received. People didn't like hearing that things are doing well after the Civil War.
Yeah. Interesting.
the other account is one that was published in the 80s by his family. His family held onto additional memoirs.
Oh, the 1980s.
The 1980s.
Whoa.
And then that second volume was published. And that is basically all of the details of his experiences, all of the nitty-gritty details of every single battle, painstakingly pieced together.
That's
from
interesting.
His various notes. And so if you want to know a critical analysis of the failures and successes, Edward Porter Alexander is indisposable. I mean, he's just the absolute pinnacle. And
That's
he has
cool.
a thing about him is he has a very beautiful hand. His hand, his actual writing is very beautiful.
Wow.
So just a really interesting person.
That's cool, man. Thank you for the details on that. That is quite interesting. What you bring up reminds me of the Confederate monuments. Many of them were made in the 1910s and 20s, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh-huh.
And I wonder if those were, I think they were, a reaction against the rumblings of the so-called civil rights stuff, you know? All this diversity and immigration and whatever else. I don't know what was going on. But
I think it's a...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I think that it was a reaction. My point is, I think it was a reaction against what was coming, and it was like I've said before, the last gasps of the Confederacy, of white civilization, the last trying to hold on to the past because this future is looking evil. And it was anger, and I feel like it was put up in anger and in spite and in also pride, and also wanted to hold on and honor the past, but it was also put up against something that was coming. Kind of like we have this, like we have the Ten Commandments in the Bible in schools right now with a couple of new laws. That's a reaction against this secularization, but it's like the last gasps of Christianity in my mind.
I think that would be a part of it. I don't think that would be the whole of it.
Okay.
I think the other side of it is people just want to remember the past.
Yeah.
And, you know, people build monuments out of prosperity. Things are doing well. Let's have a monument to remember the people who brought us here.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, these individuals that fought in the Confederacy were highly esteemed. They were engineers. They were West Pointers. They were the peak of the intelligentsia within their states, and they did many great things for the United States.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't tell Joe from Phoenix that the territory of Arizona was won after the efforts of Lee in Mexico. Don't tell him that, because he's not going to want to hear it.
That's funny.
But that's the truth.
Yeah. Because Joe from Phoenix would rather just call him a scumbag and brush him off entirely.
Yeah, all the while not realizing that he doesn't speak Spanish in that territory.
Yeah. Interesting point, man.
You know, the Mexican-American War is kind of buried under the past of the American Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah, I hardly learned anything about it. I just knew that it happened. But I didn't know when it happened or anything about it, why it happened.
But it's the largest territorial expanse gained by the United States. We should know more about it.
Wow. That's interesting. The Mexican-American War. Okay. Cool, man. It's great. I'm glad to get your input on that, because you are sort of balanced. You don't take the sides pro-South nor pro-North. You just like to say how it went as you understand it. So.
And I will tirelessly defend Grant's drinking habits.
Ulysses S. Grant was not such a terrible drunk that he was portrayed to be?
His drinking never affected his performance.
Okay. That's interesting.
I will defend that to the end.
Yeah. He just made the mistake of letting it get out that he drinks, probably. He wasn't this drunk that... He was no space cadet.
Well,
all right.
they try to contrast him with Confederates that have all these virtues, but that's the idea.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, man. Well, thanks as always for your historical knowledge and for your call. Daniel in
Right on.
Texas. Take care, man.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. So I would be remiss were I to miss the Super Chats, guys. And I will try to get to all of you. But over on, let's see here. Lin Yan Chin, Streamlabs. Please, tell that new black guy to stop his misuse of words he doesn't understand. His pet phrase, false fallacy, is a double negative, making it mean the opposite of false. This is for Derrick, the new producer. The black country flat earth producer for Jesse Lee Peterson. Radio show producer. Tell him he means buoyancy and not density regarding the FE flat earth gravity proxy. Instead of gravity, it's buoyancy. Buoyancy, things become less dense, things float up. More dense things sink down. That's what the flat earthers think it's about, density and buoyancy. Okay, thank you, Lin Yan Chin. Yeah, so don't say false fallacy. It's a double negative. You could say that's false. It's a fallacy. But it's not a false fallacy. A false fallacy would mean something true. Because in English, double negatives turns it positive. Derrick says, tell him to debate me. Hey, Lin Yan Chin, debate Derrick. Nice. Lin Yan Chin says, I do admit, the new black guy is in our top 10%. So his IQ is at least 100, but his emotional constipation is thick and binding him to a false sense of phrasing, just as it does every mouth breather. I'm trying to breathe through my nose more. Less hype blinded than the black trainer guy, but do better. That's funny. He brought up another black guest on the JLP show. LGH, your name. LGH, your name. Everyone has sense, but not everyone is sensible, aka sapient. Being sensible is about having right orientation or so-called situational awareness, in mouth breather terms. Old folk misuse sense for sapience. Discern it via phrasing, says Lin Yan Chin. Thank you, man, as always, for the support. Some more coffees. buymeacoffee.com/the Hake Report. Colby gave me a coffee yesterday, and it was towards the end of the show. I didn't catch it. He said, shout out, Kevin. Yes, shout out, Kevin. What do you mean, Kevin Howe? I recognize this name, Kevin. Maybe you mean Kevin Howe. Our resident Putin hater, Putin critic. Popcorn's Thump Cake bought a coffee. You missed my latest coffee from yesterday, I suppose because I sent 2 and you assumed you had already read it. Costing me another $3. Don't worry, I will refund you that $3 because I don't like to miss your other coffees, man. I must have missed that. Okay. And so he said, I want to illustrate something I call the lump together, tear apart method that's common amongst some people who talk about race. In your discussion with Joe the other day, as he was pointing out the things he does for his community and why representation matters, you interjected and said, no, Joe, you're an individual. As a way to suggest the fact that Joe is black should be of no consequence to the youth he helps. He happens to be black, but he's an individual. Why is it then, at the same time, you use the term risk assessment when it comes to a person who happens to be black possibly being disqualified from job consideration? Because inspiration, a child being inspired, Joel, Hake, we were both inspired by black and white and Asian and whatever people. It didn't matter. That's why. And risk assessment is about assessing the risk. In one context, you remove race, say you're an individual, but when it comes to risk assessment, the person is lumped into a group, and individually it is out the window. Individuality is not out the window. It's just that you know that so many blacks are happening to this. You don't know about this individual, but you assess the risk and you avoid. Not judging that person, you don't know. You know that that's an individual. Hopefully I'm explaining fairly. Don't blame the victim. Okay, you can blame the victim. But anyway, nice. Thank you, Popcorn's Thump Cake. Deus Intra, also with a coffee. God within, that means. Why should one sacrifice having greater affluence and safety for what? Oh, why should one sacrifice having greater affluence and safety? For what? What the? Yeah, I know. I presume that you mean to be, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to the calls. Dang. Ooh, you guys been on hold forever, too. For what? Yeah, you shouldn't be sacrificing greater affluence and safety for diversity or something like that, you know? I presume that that's what you're talking about, Deus Intra. It depends on the situation. Jesus sacrificed greater affluence and safety for us. But everybody is not to do what Jesus did exactly. At least not literally. Not physically. Take up your spiritual cross and follow him. Truck driver bought a coffee. Senor Hake, Giga Chad Mark completely mopped the floor with your Ukrainian co-host the other day. We have no business in Ukraine. And Dylan Burns is not Ukrainian. He's just in Ukraine. He supports Ukraine. He's not Ukrainian, I don't think. He does look a little Asian, but he's white. We have no business in Ukraine, and instead of giving them billions, we should use that money here to build more rest stops and improve truckers' lives on the road with that money. The rest stops and overall infrastructure to support truckers is abysmal. Fair enough, fair point. Shout out to the truckers. America moves by truck. By the way, congrats on the new Flat Earth producer, indeed. Lastly, I believe Mark looks like a younger and slightly chubbier version of Mitch McConnell, while Joe definitely looks like a slightly younger Obama. Interesting, truck driver. Thank you guys for the coffees. Let me double check over on the Rumble rants. What is up, everybody? Great show. Funny how... it's me, Xenia, guessed what the DV scene was. Oh, you talk about Boardwalk Empire? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, great show. Funny how I remember that scene. LOL. Yeah, it was memorable. She's playing like she's this innocent victim. I mean, they portray her as this just innocent victim, and this guy beats her baby to death. Oh, I just spoiled part of the show. It's from 2010. Hopefully it's okay. Although Jurassic Park is from, 1994? If I wasn't 13 yet, it came out in summer before my birthday, 1994. That's funny. Okay, so the Hake report. I gotta end, guys. Hayden in Texas, I wanted to get to you. You wanted to bring some Chicago news. Call me tomorrow if you can, man. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it, but I couldn't get to you. Of Aaron C. Aaron in Utah wanted to talk about Patriot Front. Rick in Hampton, Virginia, talking about Project 2025. Call me tomorrow, or call Joel Friday TV, who's coming up next, or call the American Anchor, baby. Let's do Agnus Day by the Psalters. It's actually by Sepideh Vahidi. I hope you enjoy it, you musical Philistines. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.
Agnus Dei qui tollis, peccata mundi, miserere nobis. Agnus Dei qui tollis,
She's Persian.
peccata miserere nobis.
Lamb of God. who takes away the sin of the world. Give us peace. Bye.